What's going on, people? Welcome back to another JSTV, back again for Twitter React Show. And this is going to be really interesting because we're going to talk about the ticket system. And people on social media are kind of kicking off saying that they're not happy with the way the ticket systems run. And also, people are buying tickets just for the loyalty point, and they're denying other people trying to buy tickets a chance for them to buy the tickets as well. So I've got Paul with me. Big up to Paul. How are you, my guy?
Not bad, not bad. It's another it's another day in Newcastle land on Twitter or X. It's always a laugh to see what is annoying us now. Brighton seems to be in the past. Now it's all about who's allowed to buy tickets for a really cool away day. But yeah, it seems to have caused a bit of a fight online, which
it's got about Jacqueline times, if I'm honest with you, to know. I mean, I'm not going to lie, but the thing is, I'm not getting too involved with that, because if people also have a go at people who are saying about the tickets, etc., sort of thing, cool, let them carry on. But I'm not going to get too involved with that, because it's got nothing to do with us at the end of the day, right? I mean, obviously the club has set it up how it's going to be, right? From my understanding, it's one ticket per person, not 4 tickets per person, which is really, it's just greedy in my book. So what they've done, they're making it so fair for everyone to get a ticket. For me, Paul, I think it's easier to buy tickets now as a season ticket holder, and I think it's a cool way of doing it. In my opinion, what should take me?
I agree. Yeah, and this is the thing, isn't it? Where the owners are still trying to figure out the best way of doing things. We had this with the ballot, with the membership thing. Like, we've had a few of these little instances where they're trying their best to be as fair as possible. Like, we all loved when they went back on that decision within 24 hours and made the tiers of, like, you could pick what tier of ticket you wanted, and we were quite positive about the owners because the fans were unhappy. And I think they've tried to think of, like, how is it the fairest way, because it is our first time in the Champions League for 20 odd years, and it is going to be popular to get there. But it's hard. It's one of those where a genuine thing could be where you buy a ticket. This is what, people are going to tell me off, but this is generally what happened. I don't care. I can say it live. I bought my ticket because I've got more than enough loyalty points to get there. I was booked off for work, so I was able to attend because work was booked off. But then out of nowhere, I won't mention where I work because they'll tell me off, I'm sure. But cool. Work changed their mind last minute and said that no, actually now I need to have the day in. I can't have it off. And I'm never going to get to the game now. I'll just have to watch it on TV. So I've obviously given my ticket to someone who was on my, on another name. So I know some people aren't happy with that, but I've tried to make it as fair as possible, and another fan can go when I've just had hard luck, because I really wanted to go. It's genuine, it's a genuine thing I just can't get out of. So it's one of those things where those sort of things happen. People might buy a ticket. Life happens. It's not, some people might be like, oh, Paul, you've done that because you want another, you want to buy yourself another away point. But I bought my away points when I was doing the championship season. So, I'm not doing it for any sort of, like, one up on someone or whatever. I've already earned my way, my points in my years of supporting Newcastle. So it's not me to feel big-headed. It was because, like I said, it was a genuine thing. I thought I had it off. Got pulled into the office literally Friday, and when they were just like, right, we've got this big meeting, can't get out of it. It's really important, so we can't give that day off now. So just bad luck.
Yeah, it is. It could be that. It could be someone else come. It could be a member of your family as well. It could be, anything. That's the thing. Someone comes up in the last minute. Someone comes up over the weekend for the benefit game. That's for another time. Guys who like the video, like what you watch, make sure you like and subscribe. Become a member. It's just 99p. I should do a competition after the Milan game on a match reaction show a week on Tuesday. And probably be invited on that one as well. Junior's coming on, and also Ian Sutcliffe as well. We're going to go straight to the first one as well. The first we're going to talk on the reaction is Glenn Burrows, and he posted out a tweet, and this is quite interesting. And he said, The absolute rage from Newcastle members claiming a membership is a waste of 37 quid because they can't get Milan tickets. They shouldn't be news. They signed up for the home ticket access via a ballot or resale. Those with season tickets get away game access. It's a simple reading. And all the things, I'm not going to read out all these things at the bottom, right? You can see this is what you get with a members as well. Yeah. So my opinion is, right, they know the rules, right? Yes, I think you should put a certain tickets back for members for the ballots as well, which I totally agree. So it gives everyone a chance to put their hand in as well. And that's where it goes. I truly believe, in my opinion, I like the way our owners and the club's doing the new rules now. Yeah. So, yeah. Do you think MSC members should chill out and calm this afternoon, right? Because they know what they're going to get with 37 quid and they know the rules as well.
Yeah, I think again, it's one of those where it was very clear in the rules of what you got as a member. And again, it's kind of like, I'm not saying it's bad to be a member. It's, it's obviously a really good thing if you can't get the season tickets, because it's harder now. Like at one point it was easy. It was easy to get a season ticket because no one wanted one. We had to give away like 10,000 one year because it was just so bad. So I feel for the members, because obviously they've signed up maybe wrongly thinking they'll get tickets for those sort of games. But again, with what was on the internet and what was, if I had a membership, I'm sure you get like an email, and I think it's pretty clear like what you get. The only thing I thought of, again, it's hard to police it, I guess, but say there's like instances like mine or others where, maybe you have like a pool of tickets where I can't go because of that, or, other people might not be able to go because, like you were saying, John, like a family emergency, whether I could press a button on the website and say, I want to, pull my ticket, and that can go into a little pot, and then that can have a ballot for members possibly, and then it's kind of like it's fair. But again, it's hard to police that, and it's not going to be like an abundance of tickets when it comes to that sort of thing. It might be just like a few, maybe 20 tickets or something when it comes to that sort of thing. But it's difficult. Like the club can't make it fair for everybody. It's impossible.
Agreed.
There's only so many seats at an away ground, and it's only, again, I know it's hard to hear for members, but it's only fair for the first dibs to go to people who have got a lot of away points, because they're the people that have probably been there the first time, perhaps. Or they went to, they went through a lot of away games where we weren't very good. So it's they're trying their best. Every club has the same thing. It's not just Newcastle United that has this problem. Man United have this problem, Man City have this problem, Arsenal, Liverpool, every club has have this kickoff of like, we've got this big away game, but I can't get to it because I'm not a season ticket holder. I haven't got the away points, but it's a tough one, because then it's like, if you do hold back, let's say 20% of the tickets for members, then the people rightly with away points will be upset because, why are they not getting the first choice over members who haven't had an away game? It is a hard one. I get it. I get both sides of the argument, but I don't think there's anything that the club can do to make everyone happy. I just don't think there is.
Yeah, it's very difficult, isn't it? Because they're trying to make it fair for everybody else, if you see what I mean. And I truly believe that I think, if I'm honest with you, it's just making it fairer. And it's a tough one, really, because everyone wants to go to the Milan game. Everyone wants to go to the Milan game. Let's be honest about it. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's a tough one, but I just to see what happens on that one as well. So I'm going to get one removed as well. And I'm just going to bring the next one up, if I'm allowed to start that one first. I'll bring the next one up. This is for Ray Atkinson. And he tweeted out as well, which I think is a good one. He said, me, Copa, I totally forgot that if you're no longer a season ticket holder, you're no longer allowed to follow Newcastle. Not allowed into matches at home and away. 50 years of support wiped out to the record books as if it's never existed. Wow. Ray is not a very happy Newcastle fan, and I've got to bring that up as well because he is not happy at all whatsoever. What's your take on that one, man?
Well, Ray, like, I love your passion. I really do. I've no problem with you, mate. And I'm sure you're a brilliant Newcastle fan. Try not to take this personally. This is not meant to be a personal attack on your level of supportership. Like, I hate this whole thing of, like, you know, I know we give banter to Man United fans and stuff, but if you're not born in Newcastle, it doesn't mean that you can't support Newcastle. If you're in America, Australia, we have fans all around the world. You know, I was born in Newcastle, so it was my club because of that. But I moved down south, but I still follow them, you know, because that's the team I picked when I was a kid. So no matter what, I'm going to follow Newcastle until, you know, when I can't stop going, you know, when I'm in a wheelchair for one day. So I'll be going until I can't go anymore. But anyone can support Newcastle. It's weird when people are like, yeah, well, you know, you're only a real fan if you live in the city. You know, you're only a real fan if you go to this many away games. You're only a real fan if you do blah, blah, blah. No, that's ridiculous. Like, you can be a perfectly brilliant fan and you can watch it on, what is it now, TNT Sports or whatever, or you know, if you're being naughty on your Fire Stick, you know, if you're watching Newcastle and you're supporting them, you're still a supporter, mate. I know it's hard to not take it personally, but it's not a personal attack from the club. They're not saying you're not a fan. They're not, you know, they're not trying to take it away from you, but they're trying to be fair. They're trying to be fair as possible. You know, if you make it a ballot for Champions League tickets, then you're going to have people who lose out completely, who have maybe got like 300-400 away points. Who've been going the whole time, you know. So it's one of those things where you have to make it fair. And sadly, the fairest way is what they're trying to do at the moment. I know it's hard to not take it personally, but they're not doing it to annoy you. It's just, that's just how it is. There's only, like I said already, Milan can't be like, well, we'll give up half of our stadium because you need more fans here. That's the allocation for away games. It's that simple. Some clubs have more of an allocation, like Old Trafford has that, doesn't it, where they actually give up more seats to try and get more away fans in. So when they have European games, they expand Old Trafford to try and get, you know, to try and accommodate the away fans. So, you know, but we can't control that. We can't control what Milan does. If that's what the away allocation is, that's what it is. You know, what is it? It's like just under 4,000.
Yeah, 4,200.
Yeah. So do you know what I mean? Like, how many Newcastle fans are there? You know, how many want to go? How many want to go to Milan? There'll be hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of people that want that seat. I'm gutted. I can't go, especially that I had the bloody day off, and you know, whatever. You know, I can't get out of it. So you know, I'm going to have to come home and watch it on the TV. But that doesn't mean that I'm not a Newcastle fan because I've had to watch it on TV. It's, yeah, I feel for it. I love the passion. And it's not, yeah, try not to take it as a personal attack, buddy, because it's not. You know, I know you're a Newcastle fan. John knows you're a Newcastle fan. We're not.
Yes.
People aren't saying you're not a Newcastle fan, and the club isn't saying that. It's just, it's hard to be a football club and not annoy your fans because we're going to, you know, sadly, it just comes with the job. You wait until the prices of these replica shirts from Adidas. I know we're all excited and it's going to be brilliant, but when they release these new shirts, I bet you there'll be a kickoff about the price.
I'm going to kind of agree because it's going to be about 80 quid, 90 quid, 100 quid as well.
Yeah.
The problem is, though, Paul, people are still going to pay for it. People are going to still going to pay for it. And I guarantee you, I'll definitely do a Twitter reacts when it does come out as well. I guarantee you that as well. 110%.
I'll tell you what, mate. If they do a retro, if they do that retro, that one kit with the yellow and stuff, oh my god, that was just the best kit ever. So I'll be spending hundreds upon hundreds of pounds on that. I don't care. It's just the best kit we've ever had.
Fair enough. And you know what it is, right? I'm so excited for next season, and let's get this season out the way first. And let's go on to the next tweet. Is coming from, there's two of them. Lee Lovey, right? And then Neil Brown added to it as well. This is what Lee Luffy had to say first. The club has completely effed up how they sell tickets home and away, domestic, European. Proper rurally effed up. Newcastle, the Busybody Trust must be good proud of themselves. Just leave it next time, lads. And then Neil applied, I've got some info from Greg NUST about these memberships. They have approximately 12,000 members split in 50-50 by season ticket holders and NUST members. How the F they could be representative of the fans. Wow. Look, two good points there, right? It seems to me that the NUST Trust, Alex is a good guy and Charlotte as well. They don't say much, but at the end of the day, I'm sure, in my opinion, they're going to come in and they're going to intervene. I'm sure they're going to tell Newcastle what to do next time, especially when it comes to ticketing as well.
At my point, they haven't really, I can't see it in the tweets there, are YouTube members.
Yeah.
Because you can have your say, they have the option of being a member as well. It's hard to be critical of something if you're not a part of it. Yeah. They do try and get the fans' point across as much as possible, and they have in the past. Again, to repeat my point, when we were all up in arms about how they did the tickets ballot, with you could get whatever ticket, and if it's 64 quid or whatever, you have to pay it. Mm-hmm. Rightly, we were annoyed about that. The trust went and said, this is not good enough. What are you playing at? 24 hours later, the club rectified it. So they can have an impact, and they do try. But again, I want, they've put a lot of it, there's two tweets have put a lot of negatives in there. What's your solution? What do you want the club to do? I get you're upset, but maybe aim the tweet as right, I've got an idea how it works better, because that's what the club needs. It's pointless just being they've effed up, they've this, they that, angry. I get you're angry, but what's the solution to the problem? If you've got a better idea, the club will love to hear it. I'm sure. Like I said, I had that, and it's probably not even an idea, but to make it fair, like I said, perhaps if there are tickets that are given up, you can put it in a pot and then make it a ballot or whatever. At least I've had at least I've thought about something that could work. So rather than, I know it's hard not to get upset, but try and think okay, so I'm annoyed at how the club are doing it, but I can offer an alternative rather than just spouting off F words and getting angry. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't help anybody. I think it's just better to try and think of this is really showing my teacher side of things now. It's how I talk to my students. It's just kind of rather than be angry, think of a solution. If you have a better idea, like I said, the club, I'm sure would love to hear it, and the trust would. Because again, if they look at your idea and think hey, that's a really good idea, there's no disadvantage to them saying right, we've had fans come to us with this idea. What do you think? We've seen that the owners are more than happy to go, you know what, we got it wrong. We hold our hands up and we'll change it. So offer a solution rather than just swear words.
Yeah, very, very true. And you know what it is, right? That's no need to do as well. But NUST Trust, look, they're doing their best. They got a tough job at the minute. Some people for them, some against them. I don't get too involved with them. I'm not going to lie, but they got an opinion just like everybody else as well. So you either like them or you're not a big fan of them as well. By the way, guys, it's a pre-recorded show. And if you like the video, like what you watch, make sure you like and subscribe. Super chats are open. You can do it through the comments. And if you'd like to become a member, it's 99p. Let's go on to the next one. It's going to be coming from Andy. At Grimble 5, and he tweeted, members should be allowed in the ballot. These ticket holders are 0 points, don't do away games. If they buy, it will most likely to be for the point and not to actually go. Many members have been going on away for years and deserves a chance at a ticket. And underneath, he continued, also, arranging traveling at social notice will be difficult. Flights connectivity from Newcastle Airport is awful, so you have to travel miles in the UK before you can even find a flight to Milan. All that extra time and cost. Well said, Andy. Do you know what it is, right? I mean, I think, in my opinion, if you go to a away European game, it should be done in a month's notice, not like 10 days notice, because it just does give them a chance to plan, Paul. Because the thing is, right, you go to away games, I think it should be a month's notice, plenty of good time, so it gives people time to book the hotels, book their flights. It's being proactive. The club are not helping at all whatsoever. It was like 10 days to go for the Milan game, and it's just all panicking, all rushed off. That's unfair.
Yeah, and I feel for those guys, because I was the same. Like, I booked, as soon as I found out when I did have a day off, I know I keep slagging it off, but I'm, it's annoying. But yeah, so I booked my hotel, I booked my travel, and it was a nightmare. And then the other top thing that other people probably notice that, booking companies know that something's happening. So they're like, oh, there's a football game on, so we'll put the price up 900%. The flights were mad, and then the hotel was more than you would pay, because they know you're coming. So yeah, I agree. I think it's where possible, try and give people as much heads up, because it's only fair, to try and give people, I know it's not the same kind of sport, or not sport. People probably laugh at me when I say it's a sport, but I went to see the All Elite Wrestling at the Wembley Stadium the other week, and they announced it a year ahead. So they were like, we're here again next year. And they announced that on the day. So you've got a year's notice to get your hotel. You got a year's notice to get your flights. You got a year to sort it out. Really good time. Really good. I'm not saying we have that, obviously, but at least they've given you time to plan it and get there. I'm not, obviously football doesn't work the same way, but time is a big thing. If the minute we know, and we can try and let fans know, it'd just be better for them. And and again, it's just I just wish that, again, this is the world changing, but it'd be nice if those flight companies and people wouldn't be so mean when it comes to that, because it's horrible how they just this is where parents can't go on holidays with kids, because when it's summer holidays, they put the price up 300%, because they know that people want to go on holiday. It's just,
I think it's shocking.
Yeah, and they do the same to us, where whenever we have an away game or whatever, I always notice that the train tickets are higher, because they just know that their fans will be traveling and they'll pay it.
And I think that's absolutely wrong. I think that's just it's plain greed. I think it's arrogant, ignorant, and they don't really care. People watching now, right? If you're trying to look for a place in Milan, my advice to you is get a flight to Milan, or if you go with Ryanair, get a flight to Milan Bergamo, and get a place there. It's only 50 minutes on the train for Bergamo to Milan Centrale. So you save quite a bit of money if you stay in Bergamo instead. It is not that far at all. You still be able to get back after the matches as well, guaranteed. And I know that is a fact as well. People are watching. So let's go on to a couple more before we wrap up the show. Another one from Roger S. And he made a point as well about pre-planned. He said, given people 8 days notice to sort out travel to Italy. Totally agree, Roger. You're absolutely right. Ian said, travel and accommodation is a nightmare. I could have bought my ticket as soon as it went on sale. Roger said, I booked up soon as the fixtures were announced. Got lucky. Flying from Stansted, was just making a point that is not much notice to other people. And one more from DJ as well. I got one yesterday, having 1 point for my son. Got his the other day. He's booked up, didn't think I would get one. So didn't know I have a ticket. Trying to book is proving very costly. No luck yet. DJ Walker, if you're watching, mate, and you're watching my streams, get an accommodation in Bergamo, because it's only 50 minutes away from the train. Takes to the Centrale, and it'll be cheaper. That's where, my guys. So that's my advice. What do you think of Roger's comments? I think he's correct.
Yeah, it's just, we've said before, it's just, there isn't that time, is there? I mean, it is no time to get sorted. Most people have got families, they got jobs, literally sorry to keep going on about it, but the day I knew, I ran into work and I was like, I need that day off. And they were like, yeah, of course. And then they took it away. But, you know, those are the things you have to do. And some jobs you have to have like 14 days notice. Some jobs, especially if you work in like care homes or hospitals, like they have like a policy of like, if you don't give us 14 days notice, you can't get the time off. So how are they meant to get, you know, if they can go and have a time, how are they meant to go? Because they're not going to get the time off. You know, I worked in that industry, and that used to annoy the hell out of me for football, because sometimes we would announce stuff and I couldn't get the time off because you needed 14 days notice, because you had to find someone to cover your shift, especially when I was working in A&E and stuff, because if you went there was no one to cover your shift. So, you know, it was a pain. So there's certain industries where it isn't enough time to even book the day off.
Yeah.
Because the policy won't even allow you, which is not fair. That's not fair on those guys.
I agree. We go one more, and we're going to wrap the close to short. This is from Stephen Parker as well. I tell you what, he called controversial as well. He said, nothing for members as usual. Clubs a joke. Everything for season ticket holders, even though half the season ticket holders don't even go to away games, but sold their ticket onto collect points assistance. So broke, it's beyond repair. Club for the plastic fans. Stephen, let me be clear with you, mate. We're not plastic fans. Number one, we're season ticket holders. We go to away games as well. So I think you need to think what you say, Steve, before you place that one out, mate. It's as simple as that. And Greg Ashley kind of shamed him. You think members should get ahead of ST holders? I tell you what, Greg is so correct there as well. I will not read the other thing as well. For us clubs full of plastic fans, you know what, Stephen? You have just done yourself the service, my guy.
Yeah, I feel I need to make it a mission on this channel. I think I need to claim I'm a plastic fan. You know, I've only been going since the early 90s. Went to both relegation seasons.
Real fan.
Went through the Ashley years. You know, went to that famous Wolves game when we were awful. Oh my, that was one of the worst performances in Newcastle history ever. I mean, that performance was terrible. Maybe what was worse, that or Cardiff? When who was it who missed a penalty in the last minute? It was Kennedy, wasn't it? Kennedy. Oh my life. That was just sorry guys, yeah. So I'm a plastic fan because I went through all that. So I now support Man City, John, so I'm going to start doing Man City TV tomorrow. Sorry.
I tell you what, though, I do. I'll be a Arsenal fan. Go on League on this channel. No problems at all. Do you know what I mean? But it's just like that, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So it's crazy. I can just go and support Celtic full time and just do that sort of thing. Be a full time YouTuber, Celtic Football Club. But call us plastic. I've got a season ticket for 24 years, man. HOWAY. That's a long damn time. And I travel from Bristol. You travel from. Tell me where you travel from?
Banbury in Oxford.
And you call us plastic fans. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But we're not gonna ramble on, because at the end of the day, that's not what we're all about. We're a positive channel. We are not going to ramble on. It's as simple as that. But these guys' opinions, we got, man, real fans. End of story. So on that note, before we wrap up as well, for me, do you think the fans should buy a ticket for away and get their point without going to the match if it's genuine?
I mean, yeah, because how can you police it? How can you police that? You can't. Do you know what I mean? Like, what? How can a club decide what is a genuine and ungenuine problem? You know, let's say I could go and I get to the airport and they cancel the flight last second. I can't quite get there.
Yeah.
Most people would say that's a genuine reason. But maybe the club decides, well, actually, Paul, that's your fault. You should have booked a train or, whatever. Like, no, we're not going to give you the point because you didn't get there. How harsh is that? Who polices the fact that it's a genuine reason? It's impossible. So I know it winds people up, but if you've paid for the ticket, that's where you get the point from. You get the point from the fact you've paid for the ticket. I know it annoys people, but there's like we said, there's 4,000 odd fans going. We're talking probably about like 10 or 20 people here who have maybe bought a ticket who can't go, maybe for illegitimate reasons and some for legitimate reasons. But most of those guys, 95% of them have bought a ticket and they'll be they'll be going. So we're not talking about the majority of people who are doing this. It's going to be a small amount of people, and it's one of those where it's hard to police. If they've got the away points, how can you argue? It's impossible to.
100%.
So
100%.
I just don't think there's, I know it's going to upset people, but I don't know what you do. Like, just because you don't turn up doesn't mean that you've not gone because it's on purpose.
No,
I genuinely
yeah.
it'll be like one or two people who have done it on purpose. Do you know what I mean? That's it. It won't be more than like 20 people that have not gone because they just didn't want to go and just wanted an away point.
Exactly. It could be train strikes. It could be bereavements to the families.
Anything.
It could be traffic jams. It could be someone come up at the last minute. It could be someone having a baby sort of in a bed in hospital. Do you know what I mean? It could be anything. Yeah.
Anything.
So don't presume we buy tickets for just getting a loyalty point. Yeah. Let's be real, because they might say to the wrong person and they're going to get absolutely lavished. There you go. And you're going to wrap up the show there, Paul. But before we go away, do some partners as well. And JSTV, pleased to welcome their first partner, Toffs, the #1 destination for classic football shirts that recreates famous vintage Newcastle shirts designs. In addition to this massive range of retro replica shirts, Toffs brings you NFC inspired buckets, hats, features Bulo, Joe, Janali, and more. Their products are manufactured by Gateshead Base, made by the fans for the fans. Check them out at www.toffs.com. Our exclusive John Sinclair discount code gets you 15% off all orders. Simply code JSTV15. We've also partnered by the Magpie Store, and these guys are passionate about supporting Newcastle and providing fans with quality NFC-inspired clothing. Their range includes hoodies and t-shirts featuring Gordon, Tonali, Isak, and more. Keep your eyes open as they are continually adding to the product line. The Magpie Stores is a new store for New Dawn and Newcastle. They can be found at www.themagpiestore.co.uk. Quote our exclusive code JSTV10 for 10% off each order. Please contact JSTV via email if you also like to join our partnership team. Thank you very much indeed for Toffs and the Magpie Store as well. And that's going to be end for the Twitter reacts as well. That's the second one I've done. It's been fantastic. And do you think the ticket system is flawed or it's a success story? If you leave your comments section down below, and I'll see you back for the next one. If you like the channel, like it, watch, please like and subscribe. Also become a member. Also, super chats open, so if you want to do it. And as always,